Hello, this is the first video of the series of how to make scripts, which I will be teaching really the basics on how you can do some scripts. I have already did some video about what are Reascripts, that you can learn a little about the extensions that you need to install to run certain scripts. And I will assume you already have these extensions, although you can follow along without it. And really what Reascript can do, I talked about it on the last video. And today we're gonna start to make really a scratch of a script and learn really the basics of Lua and other things about Reascripts. And in Reascripts you have three languages available for you to code with. The first one is from Reaper itself, it's from Cocos, it's EEL2. It is the fastest language that you can use for Reascripts. It's quite fast. It comes with Reaper. The only downfall is that there isn't so much examples of scripts did in EAL2. You will find some, of course, but it's not the standard as it is Lua, which is the language that I will be teaching with. It's probably the best language on the world because it's from Brazil, of course. But jokes aside, it has also a good velocity. It can quite match with EL2, although EL will be a little more faster in certain cases. And Lua is the standard of the community, and it also comes installed in Reaper, so users don't need to install anything to run a Lua script. So it's pretty good. And the third option is running Python. You can run from Python 2.2.7 to the current version, which is the third version dot something like 10, 11. I am a little out of date, but I really don't recommend Python inside Reaper. I really like Python, okay, and I am actually doing some projects in Python with Reaper. But I don't recommend running Python inside the DAW. This because first the user will have the trouble to install Python and actually set up with Reaper, which is already troublesome. And some Python extensions like NumPy, they crash Reaper. You can't run NumPy inside Reaper. You can't. It will just crash Reaper and there is nothing to do. And there is things that people did like ReaPy that enables people to run Python outside Reaper but call out the Reaper API outside Reaper. What I do normally is use a Lua script to call Python and run it externally from Reaper. But anyway, we're gonna stick with Lua. So first, the resource available to you study and know the Reaper API. The first and foremost is one that will come with Reaper, and it is with you. It will generate every time you ask for it. So you go in Help and Reascript Documentation. You click on it. And it will open this amazing page, which is kinda ugly, but is really useful because it's always up to date. And it will also contain all of your extensions functions that comes with that you have installed. For example, I have many GUI functions, and they will come here. They are also documented. So if you need something that is really new, you can always count with this documentation. Also, but just because this interface is kind of hard to find things, it's a really long list, and you need to rely on searching here. There is two amazing websites that we in the community use. The first one, let me close this now. The first one is from Xrame. I will leave these links on this description. But this website is the standard for now for searching the Reaper API. It's a great website from a great scripter. And you can even filter which language are you seeing. I will stick with Lua. The great thing to me about this site is that you have a really good search function. So you can search, for example, track, and you can see many functions that are for tracks, like set track color, and it will show you the function that you will need to run to set a track color. If you don't know nothing about languages and programming, it will make sense in a time, but basically you will put this line of code, you will change some things, but you use this to set the color of a track. Of course, you need to specify which track and which color, which you will see in a bit. So this is a really great website. The second website, which is also really great, is from Mespotin, also a really great scripter that helped me a lot, and I wouldn't be doing these videos and I wouldn't knew much about scripts if it wasn't for her. So her website is really great because there is more information for us. She documented more, many functions there. We're gonna go back to these websites when we need more information about something, especially the configuration variables, which is a detail that we're gonna talk later. But this website is also really great. And Mespotin also have her, if you are beginning at programming, this might interest you. She has a ultraShell API, and what this is basically more functions for Reaper. You can install it via Reapack. I used it when I was starting programming at Reaper, and you can see on her website all functions that she made. You have really many things here that will be more handy to use. You don't need to remake many of these functions. Razor Edit, she has many functions to work with it. And if we see Razor Edit API inside Reaper, you have like 2 or 3 functions, and you have to work from this really low level on them. And what she did is really bring them to a high level, so it's much more handy to work with it. So really great thing to use. ultraShell API, I really recommend. Install it. You can install via Reapack. And to run it in a script, you just need to put this first line here that she will comment. But anyway, these are the resources. I won't stick too long on resources, and let's now start coding after 10 minutes of video. Okay. Okay, first thing first, we're gonna start creating a new script. So I'm gonna go here, actions, show actions list, new actions, and new Reascript. So this is how you start a script. And now you select where you want to add. I will add in aulas, which mean classes. And I will create a new folder called video classes. Enter here. We'll create another folder. No, we won't create another folder here. And I will call it hello world.lua. Okay, so we have here our script, and I will open my IDE. You can use whichever IDE pleases you. I personally like VS Code, but in the first videos I will be teaching on Reaper IDE, which comes with Reaper. But later I will be showing how to use VS Code. And Reaper IDE comes with many cool things that we're gonna see in a bit. Okay, so we have our IDE here, and we're gonna start by trying to make a script that prints something on our screen. For this, we're gonna need to run a function. A function is basically a command that makes Reaper do something like, hey, insert a track or print something on the screen. To print something on the screen, we're gonna execute this function, okay? It's called Reaper dot show console message. It's message, but it's shortened. Okay, this is the function, and to call a function, you need to end it with a parenthesis. So it's saying, oh, I am running this function. And inside the parenthesis, normally it will ask you for values. So in this example, it's a function that prints things on the screen, and what it's needing what it will be to be printed. This function wants a string. A string is basically a text, set of characters, and we say we create strings by putting things between quotation marks or single quotation marks. It doesn't matter. I will use one because I want, and I will say hello world, and I will save. You can click here start to run it, or you can just click Ctrl S or Command S. I will click Ctrl S, and it printed on my other screen hello world. And I could say another thing like what I can say. I say go vegan, and I will save this. And where did this fucker go? Here. But you see some problem already, right? Hello world and go vegan are on the same line. Of course they are. And we need to put things on the other line, because if I just printing, I will be printing always on the same line, okay? If I stand this, you will see it's the same line. So we need to say, okay, we will print a new thing, so put on a new line. So we say new lines inside the string by placing this slash in this direction and n. Okay, so if I now go save, we see it's always on a new line. Okay, so slash n, it's new line. And so this is how you print something. If you want to clear the console, you can click clear here, but you can always start a script cleaning your console. For example, saying reaper.clean console, which is a function. This function, what it will do? It will go there on the console and say, no, we don't need this. I will clean this, and print the new thing. So now every time I print, I will be saying just go vegan, go vegan, go vegan, go vegan. Okay, and of course, if I copy and paste this line, it will print two times, go vegan, go vegan. And okay, so this is how we print things on the screen. You can, although you can print strings, you can also print numbers, like for example 2. It will print 2. I can print 2 multiplied by 2. It will be printing 4. Okay, you are good at math. Or 2 divided by 0, of course it won't work because you can divide by 0, but it says something. And you can say true, which is a boolean. Can we? No, we can't. And this is because sometimes some functions say, I want a string, but if you give me a number, I will do my best to print it. But sometimes the best isn't enough, and it's saying, well, true isn't a string, I can't print this. How can we print true, for example, or false, which are booleans? We can print them by converting them to strings. How we convert something to a string? We use a function to convert things to strings. So for example, to string, and then we run this function inside the other function, and here we can say true. And now we print a boolean as a string. But this can start to be a little complicated, because every time we need to print something, we need to say to string and put the slash and many things. So let's create our own print function that will accept everything, and not only that, we'll put everything on a new line. So for create, I will erase everything. For creating a function, we need to declare it. So let's declare it like function, and then we give a name, for example, print, and then we close brackets, and we need to say what it will, the argument names, the variable name that will be called inside the function. It will make sense in a bit. Let's say it val1, okay? And we need to end it. It's very important to end things that you started. So here inside of it, I will give a tab just to make it beautiful. And here inside of it, I will say reaper.show console message. And I say val1. Okay, let's just try if it works. So now if I call print and say hello, it will print hello. Okay, so we have our first function. So let's now put the other things that we learned. You can try alone if you want, but I already give some time. You can pause the video, and now I will continue. And okay, so let's put /n, and now you might be thinking, well, I have this string to make a new line, and I have val1. How I combine these two things? We combine strings by putting 2 dots, okay? So I could say /1 and put another string here, like go vegan. So it will be combining /n with go vegan. So now I am combining /n with value 1, which we don't know if it is always a string, but it must be always a string. So we convert it to a string, like we saw earlier. To a string. To a string. Okay. I will need to put less zoom. Okay. So let's try now. Oh, hello. It works with strings. Let's see if it works with numbers. It works with numbers. Let's see if it works with booleans. Oh, true. I can see how it's working. So this is our first function to learn how to make a print function, basically a hello world. And in the next video, I will be showing the types of variables and we will start to make our first script.